to hit it.
Yay.
Did
Okay.
everyone hear that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now everyone on your best behavior, including me.
I can't make fun of you anymore.
Nope, it's being recorded.
Uh, oh, there's Sam. Hey, Sam.
Oh, he's muted, but he said
You're
hello.
muted, Sam.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Good. We're just waiting for everybody to log in. Frank's ready to kick off the show in a minute here.
I'm chomping at the bits.
I'm just glad to be a part of the show with you.
Yay.
Um,
And we have Vicky on too.
yes. There's Vicky. What's going on, Vicky? I say we go ahead and get started, guys, since we already started half of the introductions.
Agree.
My name is Frank Duplechain with TSAHC, and I have with me today Sarah Ellinor with TSAHC as well, and Joniel Levier with TSAHC as well.
Frank Duplechain.
Duplechain. You have to say it like that. And thank you guys for joining us today. We have a couple of special guests. You guys may have already met and or heard from us before. But we have a couple of special guests. Mr. Sam Noel with Freddie Mac is here to tell us a little bit about what's going on a bigger picture. And then we also have Vicky Visconti here today with Lakeview Bayview. These are just some of our partners and people that we partner with throughout the state, and in offering our programs, they provide great assistance and great wealth of knowledge. So we appreciate them being here today. So we'll give some people some time to talk, and hopefully you'll have some time if you stick around later to ask some questions as well if we don't get to all your questions. But we have it scheduled for this class to be over at 11:30 a.m. But while you're all thinking about it, if you haven't heard me say it earlier, this class will be recorded. So we will go ahead and email you and anyone on your team that received this invitation a copy of the presentation so they can have it for their records. And thank you guys for being here today. I really do appreciate it. We just admitted one more person. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So thank you guys for joining today. I appreciate you guys taking the time out to come here today to learn about what TSAHC down payment assistance and mortgage credit certificates can do in this current environment. If anything has become prevalent, it's that affordable housing is needed in the state of Texas. So this is a perfect way for you to get into the hang of using TSAHC again if you've stopped, or a great way for us to answer any of those questions or anything that you may have had a misconception about. So let's go ahead and get started with this presentation. And please feel free to ask questions in the chat along the way. I have Joniel and Sarah here to help with that. So if you have any questions, they can help with those questions in the chat. Let's get started. And I apologize if you see me looking this way, it's because that's where the other screens are. Here we go. So today, what we're going to cover is a little bit about TSAHC, what we do as a company. We're going to talk about down payment assistance, or DPA, as some people know it, mortgage credit certificates, or MCCs, which is what they're also called. We're going to talk about our program fees, just to kind of go over that again, how someone qualifies for the program. So if you have qualification questions, please try to save them for that section. And then we'll go over, if you're already aware, go over those marketing resources once again with you guys that we have available for you guys to use our programs for free. So first things first, a little bit about TSAHC. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the mission to serve the underserved population of the state. And we do that three ways. So the way most people are familiar with is our buy programs. That's the way we help people get into homes. It's our down payment assistance. It's our mortgage credit certificates. But what I always said is a resource that I never really had my hands in that I should have, that I'm so happy I know about now, are our stay programs. So with our state programs, we help provide grants to nonprofits and help just provide visibility to nonprofits who provide financial education, credit counseling, things regarding foreclosure prevention, all kind of nonprofit services that are offered at typically a lower price than your credit dude that fixes people's credit for $1,000 a month. There are nonprofits out there that do something similar, and they get grants to do it. So we have all those state programs that I can also show you how to access those. And then we have our build programs, which is another part of what TSAHC does, building developments throughout the state, purchasing homes, rebuilding or refurbishing apartment units. We have all kind of different development projects that we do to help get that affordable housing out in the state of Texas, right? So of our build and our state programs, they both exist in part because of our buy program, which is what we're here today to talk about. So I appreciate you guys joining us today. You helping people buy homes really does help more than just that one person. Just throwing that out there, guys. That's the great thing about working with us is you do see that tenfold result in the community as a whole throughout Texas benefiting. All right, so next, a little bit about TSAHC. Now, this is something that we have to get out the way every single class, is that anyone, no matter what they do for a living in the state of Texas, can use our programs. If you're already aware of this, I'm so happy of that. But if you weren't, we're not just the Hero program. So as part of our buy components, we have the Homes for Texas Heroes home loan program, which is for those who are people who are teachers, firemen, police officers, people defined as Texas Heroes. And then we also have our Home Sweet Texas home loan program, which is you, me, my garbage man, my mom, all of those other professions. So literally everyone in Texas can use our programs as long as they meet the income and credit guidelines if they're trying to do down payment assistance, okay? So we never want anyone to feel like they're discouraged from applying just because of what they do for a living. It doesn't matter. So if you ever have someone in your office say otherwise, please direct them to me or this presentation, and we'll take care of that. All right, so first things first. Next, statewide, even Texarkana, we provide down payment assistance and mortgage interest tax credits to people who qualify, right? So there's not a limited county. I know there's, every time I go to the Valley, there's always a misconception about what the income limits may be, or if people can use the program in the Valley. I promise you, you can. We'll go over that all day if you want me to, but there's a little misconception on what the income limit is in certain counties in the Valley. So we want to make sure we figure that out today and solve that. So if you think that the income limit is $40,000, we got to get that out the way and fix that today as well, okay? And we'll get to that in that qualification section. But first things first, let's talk about loans with down payment assistance. Okay, so we have 3 different options, right? Technically 4 now because we have a 2% program, but we have 3 different options. And this assistance of either 2, 3, or 4, or 5% is based on your total loan amount. So if you find a home for $100,000, it's based on your total loan amount. 5% assistance will get you $5,000. To clarify, this is not your sales price. This is your total loan amount. And even if you're in a situation where someone has $20,000 they'd like to use as a down payment, that's fine. They're allowed to do that. They would just get less down payment assistance because it's based on your total loan amount, okay? Next is there's no need to be a first-time home buyer. TSAHC down payment assistance programs are non-bond, so there's no need to be a first-time home buyer. So if you hear someone saying different, please correct them, okay? There's no need to be a first-time home buyer for our down payment assistance programs. You could own a home, you could have been divorced, any situation you could think of where you previously owned a home or you currently own one, it's fine. As long as you're buying a primary residence, you're good. And our assistance can be used to cover your down payment and or closing costs. So even if you're doing a USDA or VA loan, you can use all of our funds on closing costs or down payment. If you're doing a FHA conventional loan, you can use all the funds on down payment if you want to, or some on down payment and closing costs. Whatever's going on is fine. Only thing you can't use our money on, I always say, is to pay your student loan debt, your Sears card, or your Kohl's card. You can't do that, right? You have to use the money on your home, right? All right. Next, there's a fixed interest rate determined by your assistance amount. We can talk mortgage interest rates at any time, but because this is recorded, I don't want to get into rates because rates change daily. So just please note that if you're looking into our down payment assistance programs, they are non-bond, meaning they don't run out of funding. They're affected by the market, okay? So due to continued market volatility, Pricing for some of those options are not available each day. It changes daily, right? And because of it changing daily, we've actually developed this 2% down payment assistance program as well, so that we can have additional options available for you guys. So just something that we have to get out the way. We have non-bond down payment assistance programs. They do not run out of funding. Please don't tell anyone that. Don't tell your realtors that. Don't tell your home buyers that. They're just connected to the market. So whatever's available that day is what we offer. And if you're not signed up to receive our daily interest rate updates or our daily program guideline updates, please let me know and I'll get you signed up as well at the end of the class, okay? So you can be aware of what's changing day by day. Just please don't say anything's run out of funding, because it's not a bond program. It's not how it works, okay? So as soon as the market allows, I promise we'll have every program back that we can. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Please, if you have questions about this, we have to get them answered. I don't want anyone leaving here still saying non-bond programs run out of funding. If anything, you'll leave here today knowing anyone can use our program and we don't run out of funding. It's connected to the market. Okay. Look at those graphics. All right, next up. So with our down payment assistance program, you can get that down payment assistance 2 different ways. You can get it as a grant, which is available on government loans only, FHA, VA, USDA. It's a true gift, never needs to be repaid, which truly means as long as the home buyer lives in the home at least 6 months, they sell or refinance within that 6 months, they'd have to pay it back. But after that, that grant is fully forgiven, okay? And typically it will be available in both 2, 3, 4, and 5% options. But we also have our second lien option, which has become very popular lately. It's a 3-year deferred forgivable. It's available on all loan types, including conventional loans. There's no interest on the second lien DPA. I always say it's because we're a nonprofit, guys. We don't want you to pay the money back if we can help it. There's no interest charge on that second lien. There's no monthly payments on the second lien because we don't want your money. We're hoping that if you live there the full 3 years, you do not sell or refinance, you will not pay anything back, and it's automatically forgiven. You don't have to call Frank. You don't have to call Sarah or Jonil. Automatically is forgiven for you guys, okay? And typically that second lien will have a lower first mortgage interest rate than the grant will. And that's just a matter of risk based on what's daily available in the market. So this is the reason why with the current rate environment, that second lien is a little bit more popular than the grant program is, especially when the grant program really depends on what's available for that day, whether it's 2, 3, or 4, 5%. So any questions on this slide, please let's have them. Don't feel shy. If you have any questions about the programs, please don't feel shy. Anybody else sitting there? Any questions? We're good? All right, let's keep going. We're just trying to solve some of those myths. Any questions that you have, let's knock those out. So on our website, if you're a realtor, if you're a home buyer, you're a lender, we have a loan comparison calculator that's accessible to everyone. And it's a great tool because we have all those options. We have the grant, the second lien, conventional, government. It's a great way to line all 3 options up side by side. You can compare the daily interest rate of those options for that day. And with that, it'll give you an idea of what additional down payment would be needed. So if you're working directly with the home buyer, you can say, hey, this conventional loan needs less of a down payment than this FHA loan. So if that's all they're concerned about, then that may be all you have to look at. But there's also going to show, this calculator will also show you the minimum monthly mortgage insurance charge. So it'll give you an idea what has a larger MI per each loan type. And then it'll also have that combined monthly payment, depending on what loan type you're using, okay? So I want to just focus on this calculator for a second. The header of this calculator, you'll see that the leftmost column is the HFA preferred, and the rightmost column is HFA preferred plus. That's the names that's listed up there, right? But what we're thinking and what we know it as now is that below and above 80% AMFI program. And that's where I see, when I talk to my people in the Valley, that's where I see the confusion may be with the income limits or what people qualify for. So we have 2 different conventional programs, one with low to very low income, one with high to moderately high income. If you're looking at the counties on our income limit chart, you're going to look at that first row if you're working with someone who's moderately high to high income. And for the Valley currently, that income limit is around $93,000. Okay. Whereas the below 80% income limit is the ones that are specifically named for each county, right? So in general, as long as you make less than $93,000, you qualify for our programs, okay? And we're going to get into that a little bit deeper in a second. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to talk about how the program is used in a second, but first, let's kind of stop the brakes and go into money math, which is my favorite subject. And let's talk about mortgage interest tax credits. So this is completely separate from everything I've talked about previously with down payment assistance. It's a completely separate program. And the importance of it now is that interest rates are rising, and this program gives you a discount on your interest rate, period. So I love money math. I've tried to explain it to people. My best friend, or one of them even, when he was trying to buy down his rate, but he qualified for an MCC instead. If you're buying down a couple points, 10,000 out of your own pocket, right? 10,000 out of your own pocket, and now you're saying you can't go on vacation for a couple of years because you spent all your cash just to buy down the rate, but you have the option instead of getting an MCC and saving your cash and still getting that credit on your rate. Why wouldn't you do that? Okay, so let's talk about why this program is so important. So a mortgage interest tax credit, or an MCC, is available to first-time home buyers only. Okay, this qualification is waived for people who are qualified veterans. But if you're a first-time home buyer, meaning you haven't lived in the home that you've owned in the past 3 years, you qualify for this program. Okay, so even if you owned a home previously or you currently own one, if you rented an apartment for 3 years, you'd be a first-time home buyer again. So it's available to people who qualify as first-time home buyers. It's a 20% mortgage interest tax credit. I'll show you the numbers in a second. It has no maximum value, so that's the most important thing, right? Some people think the MCC program has a max value. Our MCC program does not. It may differ per organization, but for us, it doesn't have a max value. You must occupy the home as your principal residence to claim this credit, so you can't have it on a rental property. And as lenders, typically what you would do is take the credit earned in this and use it as income on a loan application if the home buyer qualifies for that. And just to let you know, we will be having a video coming out soon that we'll send you guys an announcement about giving you a little bit of help calculating how much credit you can give a home buyer. So we'll come out with a short video to kind of help you determine that. And this program is free if you're a Texas hero and you're combining our programs. So if you've already fallen asleep, please wake up. This is the most important thing, or one of the more important things you'll learn today, because it'll stop any confusion you have about our programs. The only thing different about me using the program versus someone who may be a police officer or teacher is that if they combine our programs and you're a Texas hero, you get this program for free. That's the only difference. Interest rates, income limits, mortgage interest, all of the other guidelines are the exact same. The only thing that's different for Texas heroes, they get this program for free when they combine our programs. They're just getting one. There's no difference from anybody. Okay, and we'll go over that again. Let's keep going. So this is the best way to explain how it worked. And it's almost my exact example when I purchased my home, when I originally bought it. So I just get a 20% credit on my interest. This is literally how it works. $200,000 home, 5.75% interest. I got charged $11,500 my first year of living in the home. That's my interest statement I get at the end of the year that I need to file my taxes with. 20% of that is $2,300. So I got a $2,300 credit when I bought my home that I shouldn't have received. That's 20% off that interest rate. If you're working with a first-time home buyer or someone who's having a hard time qualifying, that 20% credit is what they need. I promise you. And even if you don't think they need it now, they need it now, okay? So it's very important that you add this to any file, or at least see if someone qualifies for it. They're a first-time home buyer, because the rates are going up. It's a great time to have this product, okay? And just to specify, this is every year you live in your home. So you have to remember that no matter what, every year, as long as you're living in the home as a primary residence, you can claim this on your taxes and get a 20% credit on the interest you earn. If we get into the money math, you can use that to pay down a Discover card that's charging 30% interest. That's effectively lowering how much interest you're paying overall through your household, not just on your mortgage. So there's so much you can do with this money besides just getting that credit. I know I'm preaching. Please make sure you guys are making sure all first-time home buyers see if they qualify for it. It's really important, okay? So something that always bothered me when I worked at the bank is people would say, I don't pay taxes, I get a refund. That doesn't make any sense because you can't get a refund on something you didn't buy. You have to pay for it to get a refund, right? So this is a great example to show how taxes work, how tax liability works for people who are out there and want to understand how that MCC physically works. So even if you're getting a tax refund, it's fine. It just may increase your refund. So let's just say you make $90,000 a year. Based on that, you owe $10,000 to the IRS no matter what. So every 2 weeks, you keep on living, you see money go into the bucket to cover how much money you owe. Look at all that money. And what do you know? You pay too much. The IRS holds on to that money. I'm sure they make interest income off of it, and they give you your exact amount back. And that's what refunds are. The IRS holding your money and giving you what you overpaid. You just overpaid them. But let's just say you have an MCC. That changes things, right? I always tell people to pay attention to these graphics. We spend a lot of money on this. So the 2300 MCC hits the bucket. Look at that MCC, man. He's so strong. He knocks that bucket down to $7,700. And what do you know? If you keep on living, you keep getting paid, every 2 weeks, money goes to cover how much you owe in the bucket. Every 2 weeks, until eventually you have more money on the floor. Just like that. And look at all that extra money still coming. Is it there? There we go. Look at all that money. More money on the floor. And that increases your refund. It's really that simple, guys. It's every year you live in your home. It's one of the reasons I was convinced to buy a home. It's very, very important, guys. It's every single year. I use this $2,300 to get my brakes done because I drive terribly. Have to get them done every year. This is money that I get to save because I bought a house. You only get it when you're a first-time home buyer, guys. So if somebody's already closed, they already have their keys, it's too late. It's very important, and trust me, TurboTax will ask them about it when they file their taxes. As soon as you click I bought a home, the next question is, do you have an MCC? And they'll be mad at both of us, okay? So let's make sure all first-time home buyers are at least seeing if they qualify for it. All right, let's keep going. So something that's important in this market is using down payment assistance. Very important in this market is using down payment assistance because it helps the home buyer contribute more to their down payment. End discussion. The home buyer needs additional funds to close. Why wouldn't you give it to them, right? It's an important part of people qualifying for their mortgage. It can also free up their savings. In my own personal experience, I didn't need TSAHC, but I work here. Why wouldn't I use it? And everyone that works here could tell you I went through a saga of things falling apart at the home after I bought it. And who needed that cash to actually fix those things? This guy. So happy that instead of putting it on a 24% interest credit card at Home Depot to fix those things, I had my cash to do it because I have a 5% interest mortgage. Are people like really hearing me out? People are complaining about 5 or 6% interest, but they're putting stuff, refrigerators, on a 24% interest credit card. It just doesn't make sense. Please don't let people convince themselves that 6% is a high interest rate. It's not, because you have plenty of credit cards way higher than that. Okay, let's keep going. So a home buyer never has to disclose to the seller, neither does a realtor, that they're using our program. That's something that's really important to remember. You don't have to disclose it. As a lender, you're paying that down payment assistance, and we're just reimbursing you after it closes. There's nothing else that needs to be disclosed to the seller. And down payment assistance, once again, is non-bond, meaning you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to use down payment assistance. You can be a repeat home buyer, and they don't run out of funding. Remember, non-bond programs are tied to the market. The market just adjusts daily, which adjusts what we can offer daily. So as long as you're getting those daily email updates, you'll always know it's available each and every morning, okay? And another benefit of using our program, and more benefits, is that you can use your own funds to pay down debt and then use down payment assistance for the down payment. So if you have someone who has credit cards, Kohl's cards, Home Depot cards they need to pay off in order to close, use their money for that they've saved, and then use our money for the down payment and get the loan closed, okay? The DPA funds can free up that down payment money that you have. Use our DPA money and for the actual down payment, and then this cash that you saved, you can use that to pay over appraised value. So it's just all kind of ways you can add more cash into the fund to make it easier to close a loan. And lastly, once again, we'll have a video up shortly to show you how you can use that MCC income to help people qualify for more home. Okay, so this is just a whole bunch of different reasons why it's important in this market to still be using down payment assistance, especially to help people close loans. You don't want to forget that exists. And we want to go ahead and get rid of any of those stigmas or anything that you may have heard. We want to make sure we correct any of that. All right, so let's get to the really good stuff. So how someone qualifies. The easiest thing is please don't ever send a home buyer to our website. If somebody asks you about the programs, if they haven't found you on our website, you go there, you seem like an expert, you click home buyers and renters, you click take the eligibility quiz, and you go through the questions on the quiz with them. You're just asking them where they want to live, how much money they make, how many people are in their household, what they do for a living. It's really simple. And at the end of that, it tells them generally if they're approved for our programs, point blank. And then you take it from there as an expert, okay? And more ways to help you guys be experts is under that lender section. We also have our today's interest rates and our marketing resources. So if you go to our marketing resources, we have brochures that you guys can order for free. We have multifamily, teachers, first responders, brochures you can order for free from our website. We also have these flyers that are customizable. I will not walk you through how to customize them, but I promise you can download them and edit them. Promise you it's possible, you got this. And the next thing, and the more important thing, is the 10 steps to buying a home. Something else that you can order for free that we will mail to you. I love this document. I still love this document because it comes in handy when I talk to home buyers every day. And it's a good way to say, especially if someone's hand-holding, they've called me 10 times this week. It's like, hey man, you're asking about step 10, but you're on step 2. Get off my phone, right? It's a great way to keep people in line, keep them in track of what's going on. And it's English and Spanish front and back. So it's bilingual, okay? These are all things that you could order for free from our website. We'll mail them to you. We're a nonprofit. Might not get there tomorrow. Probably won't get here this week, but it'll get there soon. It'll get real soon, okay? So stuff you always want to remember is there's nothing to sell about TSAHC programs. Nobody has to sell me on working here or using the program. You just teach people it exists. That's it. You say, hey, there's additional funding out there. So maybe someone who had an 18% down payment wants the extra 2% just so they can get out of MI. There's all kind of different ways that you can use our program. That's okay. It's fine. You just teach people that it exists. There's nothing to sell, okay? And another way to do that is by taking our Train the Trainer course. It allows you to get educated on other ways to talk to home buyers about our programs. You get access to specialized training materials, and I'll help all of you access that. If you guys want to email me after this, I'll definitely help you get in touch with that. There's also a link to request free brochures. It's on our website under that lenders and in marketing resources section. And one of the more important things is you got to get out there and let people know it exists. For people purchasing manufactured housing, for people that are thinking that down payment assistance is all out of funding, it doesn't exist, you have to post something. You have to post something and educate people, because then you look like an expert. If everybody else is saying one thing that's wrong and you say the right thing and you have proof from the website, you look like the expert and people will gravitate towards you. Happens all the time, trust me. Okay, so you don't want to miss out utilizing your social media. Let's go ahead and skip to that last one. To plan home buyer events, we have a link on our website and the ability to host lenders and realtors if you want to get together and have a CE course for realtors. Strongly suggest that you reach out. We can have you guys request one. Love going out into the valley, or we could just do it virtually, which is also an option over Zoom. It's a great way for you to connect with other realtors in your area and build up your book of business. And it's a free service that we provide for you too. And that's a great way for you to build that relationship with participating realtors, and sponsor that lunch if you decide to do it in person. But something I always enjoyed doing, especially in college and in my mattress selling days, is having a coffee bar take over, where you just invite everybody over to a Starbucks and you're buying coffee for everyone who walks in and telling them, hey, here's my business card. Do you need a Tempur-Pedic? Or in your case, are you looking to buy a house, right? It's a great way to connect with random people in your community by just setting up shop with you and some of your people from your office at a coffee bar and just buying people coffees all day and just giving them your business card and just talking to them. It's a great way. All right. So how you get started, if you haven't used our program recently, or if you need to get back into the rigmarole of using the program and getting real, I guess more comfortable rather with using our program, the best way to get started is to take our training first. So we have free 24/7 training. It's available on our website. So you don't have to take the module that's appropriate for your position. So if you're a loan officer or underwriter, you take module 1. Processors and closers would take module 2, and the shippers would take module 3. And after you've completed the training, you contact your company admin, and they'll give you login credentials to the lender portal. Or if you've lost your login credentials, your company admin can help you with that and help reset that for you. And then you just download the brochures and the flyers, you post something on social media, and then you get started. Once you get started, just like my lender helped me purchase my first T-Check home, then when I refinanced, I went right back to them. When I'm purchasing this next one, I'm going to use them. When I refinance, I'm going to go right back to them. It's about developing that initial relationship. And then, the first time home buyer may be there 7 years. 7 years, they'll give you a call to buy the next one. It's really that simple. And that's the best part about the program, is building and starting off that relationship as well. So if you have any questions, here's our email and our phone number. And on the right side, we have our compliance review email, as well as our MCC compliance email. So if you have a specific file you have questions about, if you have a rush request, if there's something that you have a question about, please feel free to email us. We'll be glad to help you. Please take a second, take this information down. Let's see. Oh, I'm good. Okay. I'm good on time. I was hoping I didn't run over. I always run over. Take this information down, and we have something special for you guys real quick. So Sam Noel with Freddie Mac is here. I'm going to go ahead and pass host to him in a second. I know he has a presentation and a couple things he'd like to talk to you guys about. Give him a couple minutes to get ready, but here's our contact information. If you have questions, there's a specific file. Please just don't let it fall through, guys. You have my contact information. Call me. Don't just let it fall through and see what happens. Call me, see how we can save the file. Even if you tried adding an MCC and something went wrong, that you tried it and you want to see if you can get it for the home buyer, call me. Let's see if we can work it out and see if we can help the home buyer, okay? All right, Sam, are you ready? I can make you the host.
You sure can. If you make me the host, I'll go ahead and share my screen, sir.
There we go.
I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Perfect.
Can you see me there?
Yes, sir. I can see the presentation.
Let me just get it. And how about now? You still see the full screen?
Yes, sir.
Well, awesome. Well, first of all, good afternoon, and I want to thank the TSAHC team for allowing me to partner with you. They are fantastic partners of Freddie Mac, and it's just really good to be here. I'm Sam Noel. I'm one of the affordable lending managers, engagement managers for Freddie Mac. I champion a lot of the outreach for the HFAs in what we would call the central region, which goes from Minnesota all the way down to Texas. And so TSAHC is an extremely strong partner, and I want to thank you for this opportunity. But I know we're kind of focused in that Valley area, and I want to try to give you some tips and tricks to not only be successful with HFA Advantage as a choice, as a preferred choice, but also just some nuggets in terms of you being successful in the market. So, I just a couple things. So I wanted to let you know that, obviously we are here to commit for All for Home. We are all in for success and for the homeownership for the borrowers, helping you be successful. So that is our foundational beliefs. And so it is, it is our absolute duty to make home possible and to make sure everybody is engaged in that from that perspective. We believe in this affordable ecosystem and that all of you play a part of that, right? So all of mortgage professionals on the line, you are part of that. It takes you, it takes TSAHC, it takes Freddie Mac and other partners to make sure that we, make that dream reality for homeowners. So I want, Frank did an excellent job, some of that a little bit. We think about HFAs and when you think about, why these programs sound great, but I've heard, and let's just be very candid, you've heard these things about, oh, it just takes too long, or it's a lot of paperwork, or, you're not able to get your loan closed on time. All of these are truly myths. I can tell you right now, I'm just reiterating what Frank said already, but the competitive market rates are phenomenal. So you're gonna get great rates. Down payment assistance, which is the #1 reason why you need to call TSAHC, is because your borrowers have a gap. Even after obtaining a low down payment option, they still have a gap that you've got to help them with. And then the production and processing is in market turn times, right? That's gonna meet your expectations of what your purchase expectations are. The other myth is that this is for low income folks. This is, I don't do these type of loans because it's for the very low income, and that's not the clientele I work with. I just wanted to just kind of glance at what just from a national perspective, just to show you that on the average, you talk about underserved borrowers and markets, when we talk about HFAs, average median income is $50,770. So, and you already heard, that you can go up to 93 in your market. So we're talking about really, really helping low to moderate families right in Texas. I really like this one because it really identifies, as we're talking about increasing minority home ownership and how do we all contribute to that. I want to let you know that historically HFAs like TSAHC has got impact on this. And I want you to see 77%. That's a huge difference. So TSAHC, you need to take your hat off because it's an absolute opportunity where it shows where you are. I like this part about minority share as it relates to conventional lending. I want you to see that when we talk about Texas is still a little bit shy as it relates to minority comparison on the conventional loan. So, we've still got some work to do, as you can see, as it relates to U.S. versus Texas, particularly among Black African American home buyers and Hispanic American home buyers. You can see that there's a disparity there that obviously conventional lending is not a prevalent. And so it's our job to continue to say that conventional lending is definitely an option. What are some challenges of homeownership? And so when you think about what challenges are, I look at this and I say, 30% of all buyers, are still looking for down payment assistance most difficult, right? 26% of millennials 28 and younger, 24% millennials 29 to 38. But here's what's the one that sticks out the most to me is that 42% still don't know that there's low down payment options. I think that's absolutely blows my hair back. And it just shows how much work collectively all of us have to do, right? TSAHC does a phenomenal job making sure that they're out there and making sure that you're out there educating the community, but it's going to take all of us together to educate our residents of Texas. First-time home buyers, who I just wanted to give you some nuggets, right? So first-time home buyers, who's the biggest, one of the biggest segments if I'm originating today, 33% of all borrowers are first-time home buyers. That's a huge, huge data point. And you've got that kind of opportunity in Texas. You just want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. Is that even though we know that these programs are not necessarily first-time home buyers, I want to reiterate what Frank talked about. But at the same point, I think first-time home buyers is a phenomenal segment to make sure that you're paying attention to. We already know that the U.S. is becoming more diverse. We know it's growing. It's interesting that by the year of 2024, right? We're talking about the diversity. There will be no, at least the forecast is that there's by the year of 2034, excuse me, that the forecast is saying that we won't have a majority anymore. It'll all be we will all be in a minority, which is thing. So we know that's increasing, but particularly within the millennials space. I love this one because I wanted to show you, particularly in that valley area you're in. I want you to look at kind of a glance where mortgage ready young millennials are, right? They're right there in your neck of the woods for sure. And it's absolutely opportunity. If I'm in your shoes, I'm paying attention to those millennials and making sure that they understand how TSAHC works, how they can obtain the low down payment options, the down payment assistance, the mortgage, the MCCs. I'm going to make sure they're all in, particularly in that millennial space, because we all know that millennials, they have really good credit, they're very highly educated, but a lot of times they just still don't have the savings, and that's where you can help us bridge the gap. The other thing I just thought was a little just fascinating on this one is that millennials purchased more than half of the mortgage loans in 2020. Isn't that interesting? Half of the mortgage loans in 2020 were millennials. So I just wanted to give you some nuggets to be thinking about, right? You talk about first-time home buyers, minority population, diverse borrowers, and then last but not least, millennials. Those are my three takeaways. I gave you that for free, so I wanted you to make sure you have that. I just want to give you the overall, but before I talk about HFA Advantage, just quickly, just to let you know, is that we had a real change in LPA, right? Loan Prospect Advisor. So I want to let you know it's been enhanced. And so particularly in the HFA space. And so deals, because of the credit box has been enhanced, we are encouraging effective April the 1st that this went in place. So if you, ran a deal in LP and it wasn't favorable to you and you haven't tried us lately, I want to encourage you to do so. I'm getting some very favorable feedback in terms of the opportunities now. So I'm telling you right now, let's help more families together. I think our credit box has gotten fairer. Let's look at those opportunities together. As we talk about HFA Advantage, I just want to let you know that you've heard Frank talk about TSAHC sets the income limits, so you don't have to worry about that. They're going to think about it. We already talked about that a little bit. It's available to first-time home buyers and repeat buyers. So very, very important for you to know that. Flexible funding source. We'll talk about the MI in a minute. No reserves required. You're already familiar with, LPA. The selling tool, especially if I'm not talking to your realtors, is that it's a maximum, LTV with the TLTV of 105%. That just means that you're going to help your real estate professionals in your market sell more homes because you get more people qualified. Very, very important. With the charter level mortgage insurance, I know TSAHC has a great opportunity because you offer both the 80% and above and below, but folks who are below at 80% and below, the great news is they are able to obtain that charter level mortgage insurance. So on standard mortgage is going to be 35%. Even on one of our flagship products is at 25%. But when you do HFA Advantage for the population of 80% with AMI, you can offer your borrowers 18% coverage, which is going to be the best in the market. And really what that means to you is that, when you look at government loans, FHA has its place. By all means, we're going to be helping families with FHA for a very long time. But I will be, just to point it out, when you're looking at, my product, when the MI ends at the LTV of less than 80%, on an FHA loan, the MI stays on for the life of the loan. So conventional MI, it's a monthly premium. On an FHA, it's upfront and monthly premiums. On mine, the MI is only required when the LTV is at 80% or higher. MI required regardless of the LTV. No upfront MIP on mine, or the upfront MIP that adds amortized. So it's just a reminder, when you're sitting with that customer, you just want to make sure, just like anything, when I had the pleasure of originating, you just want to make sure, am I giving my customer all the options on the table, or am I just going with what I know, right? It's easy to do that. But I would make the appeal to you today is that, depending on what product, so depending on where it falls, HFA Advantage may be a very good option for your borrowers. You guys are the critical link. You absolutely are. You are a critical link. We know, we talked about the ecosystem. We need you to help families. We can't reach families. TSAHC cannot reach families if you're not helping us distribute that information and take it out to the market. So we need you out there. I've asked you to go all in. I told you we go all in with Devara. Now I need you to go on with us and really, really consider as a conventional option when you're doing TSAHC to strongly consider the HFA Advantage product. So I wanted to keep that in a timely fashion. I was on a timeline. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Frank. I hope I did good on time. Were you okay on time?
Oh, that was perfect. Can you mind making me host as well if you have the ability to do that? And while you're working on that, I just want to recap a couple things that I took notes on. Something that I had a feeling was the case, because I enjoy my time in the Valley, and I've looked at home costs while I was out there. So I noticed that you showed a slide that said greater than 75% of the millennials in the Valley area are mortgage ready. And I agree with that, because every time I've talked to someone in the Valley, between looking at the prices of the homes that are easily affordable for that area and people's misconceptions of needing a 50% down payment or 30 or 20% down payment was the issue. The issue is that they may be familiar with different lending guidelines or whatever it is. Maybe it's older guidelines, but people have been passed down that information. So I'm happy to be going to McAllen in the next month or couple of weeks for the home buyer fair to kind of dispel some of that information. But we have to start with education, guys, letting people know, hey, based on your income in this area, you can actually buy a home instead of renting. You can own the land instead of renting. And that's something that I hope that we all get today, is that in your area, there's a lot of opportunity for both millennials, older people, people just retiring and moving down there. There's a lot of opportunity in your area. And so we definitely thank you guys for being here today to learn about that opportunity. Thank you, Sam and Sarah and Shonil, for being here. And thank you guys for showing up. Please make sure when you guys get a copy of this, when we email it out, share it to everyone in your team. And we leave here today knowing that our programs, down payment assistance programs, are non-bond, don't run out of funding. They're tied to the market. And there's plenty of HFA options out there for you for a low down payment assistance option in your neck of the woods. Okay? Appreciate you guys coming here today. Looks like we're going to get to
what questions do y'all have?
I was going to say,
been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
It's been pretty quiet in the chat feature, so feel free, now that Frank and Sam are done, if you want to unmute yourselves, you can just start shooting questions out if you have them.
I have a quick question. I'm Janie with Academy Mortgage, and I would like to see if I can reach out to Frank for help. I've got a loan that I had approved when I was I had an AUS approval when we were doing a 1 lien on TSAHC, and then I switched it to 2 lien, and I cannot get an approval. And it's a good loan. We've got lots of reserves. We've got a good credit score, and I, for whatever reason, can't get an approval. And while we're at it, with Sam on the call as well, I tried LP and I got LP, but the underwriter's telling me that it doesn't read the assistance correctly, so we can't use LP. So can I call Frank and or Sam, or what would I do for help?
So can I ask one clarifying question, Janie? And hi, by the way, I know that
Hi.
you're like you participate a lot with us.
Yes.
I do.
So
I do.
what do you mean by two lien?
Well, the 3-year forgivable.
Okay, so you were going with the grant, you flipped it to the second lien.
Correct.
Okay, and you're doing a conventional?
FHA.
Oh, you're doing FHA.
Right.
Yeah, so Sam wouldn't be able to help with that necessarily. But we do have some quick step guides on how to input the down payment assistance into your AUS. So maybe it's that you're not it's not, the down payment assistance isn't being coded correctly.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
So who would I reach out to, Frank, or who would I reach out to?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Okay.
You can do that. And we do have that quick step guide, Frank.
Yep, I have Janie's email already. I can just email it to you.
Okay,
Thank
and I was gonna
you.
say, and we can, if we need to, sometimes we have a contact at our investor. Hi, Jamie. We have a contact at our investor that will, if you still are continuing to have issues, we'll sometimes send the findings over to her and she'll look through them to see if she can discern
Right.
what's going on.
I'm just trying to get that AUS approval so that the underwriter doesn't have to do manual
Okay.
and have to lower
Do you
the
not
DTI.
have the 640 credit score?
We're at 660
Okay.
with 4
So
months
why-
reserves.
You just don't want to do manual?
Well, we'd have to get her to pay off an account
Okay.
to get the DTI down, which
Okay.
is doable. It's doable, and we can do a manual. I just was hoping to get a US, and it's
Yeah,
just
let's try to.
breaking my
let's
head why I
explore
can't
it.
get it.
Let's explore it and see what we can figure out, and then we'll cross that bridge if we need to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
We had a question. Someone wanted us to put the slide back up of the comparison of the grant and the second lien. Having some issues doing that right now, but if you have any questions you'd like to ask about it until we get there. Thank you. Let's see. Haven't been able to get that. But in general, just to kind of go over those differences again, the True Grant program is a true grant. It's available on government loans only, excuse me. And it's you don't have to repay it as long as you live in the home and don't sell or refinance for 6 months or move out for those 6 months. Whereas the second lien is also a grant, but it's a 3-year deferred forgivable. So as long as you live in the home 3 years and don't sell or refinance or move out, the amount is fully forgiven automatically. But if you happen to sell, refinance, or move out within the 3 years, you pay back the amount in full. There's no deferred payment on that. It's either all or nothing on that, but it's automatically forgiven as long as you stay there those 3 years. Something else that's an announcement. I don't know if we want to record this part, but something else that's going to be changing soon is typically the income limits are updated in May or June of each year. So just as a warning, if you have someone that's close to that income limit, if you're putting in the reservation before the income limits change, you're going to have to go off the old income limits. I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, it's the 23rd.
So it may be coming out a little bit later because we want to try to roll them out at the same time as the conventional income limit updates.
Got it.
And waiting to hear back from Melissa on that as far as when they're going to be inputting those into LPA. I know last year we announced them just a little bit in advance of when they were planning to input those into LPA. So I'm just waiting to hear back if that's acceptable or not. So it might be like the 30th, Frank,
All right.
just to put them closer together. But yeah, I will say that last year was an interesting year. The income limits came out and we were surprised that a lot of the counties actually went down. This year, it's the opposite. Most of the counties' income limits went up. Some of them went down, but fewer than last year. So that's should be favorable to most folks with the files that they might have in their pipeline.
So that's just another update for you guys. We got a couple minutes left. I mean, if you guys have any other questions about processing documents, something else I always like to say is that we only require 5 documents for your pre-closing checklist approval, guys. I don't know why it takes so long for us to get those 5 documents, but if we get those 5 documents, typically they're reviewed and approved in 2 business days. That's it.
And I'll go as far as to say that it's done in less than that. But I know my compliance team will probably yell at me for saying that, but they're so awesome. 95% of the time they get them reviewed by the next day.
So as long as everything was uploaded correctly, you've uploaded all the documents, we're not going to add any time to your file. Okay, so as long as you've uploaded those 5 documents on your pre-closing checklist, you're good to go. It really is that simple. Let's see. So we're coming up on the end of the class. Any more questions? Any more great questions out there? Anybody have anything, maybe any current files they'll need to email me about? Maybe not. Okay. Well, if you guys need anything, I'm here for you. If you're going to be at the McAllen Homebuyer Fair coming up, I'll be there. Come say hi. If you have any questions, Jenny, I'll be emailing you later. Oh, how's the training module work? Thank you. You saved the day. So when you're on the website, if you just click lenders at the top of the page on tshac.org and then lender training, you'll get to a page where it shows you like little boxes for each module. And if you just go to the actual training website, you sign up and create your own username and password. You can take the training whenever you have time. There are YouTube videos and other slides combined into an online training. So it's 24/7. You can start and stop as you like. And the great thing is it gives you a completion certificate whenever you complete each module. So you have proof that you took the training. So that's a great way for you to get your processors, underwriters, closers, shippers, everyone back up to date on updated guidelines. Because if they've downloaded and saved anything from the last 2 years, I promise you it's out of date. Where is the fair in McAllen? That's a great question. It is June 18th.
It's June 18th. It's the Affordable Homes of South Texas Incorporated, or OSHTI. I think I said that acronym right, but they do this major homebuyer fair every year in McAllen, and it's very well attended. It's one of the best homebuyer fairs that we go to, and so it's definitely worth your time if you're looking to either sponsor a booth or just attend in general.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to see if I could find the link that I could share with you.
I mean, while you're looking that up, I talked to them last week, and I believe they still had spaces available, a couple of booths available. If you want to get your company signed up, or if you're not sure if you're already signed up, you can contact them and see if maybe your company already has a booth, or you can just come hang out with me. That's fine too. You can just come see me.
Let me see if I can find the link to the fair. They actually have a web page as well.
It's hard to find. I think you have to Google the Homebuyer Fair McAllen.
Okay.
And then the website is the Affordable Housing Fair.org or something along that line. See if we can get it for you guys real quick.
Okay, well, I found the Facebook page. I'll put that in the chat feature.
Here it is. It's thehomebuyersfair.org. Here it is.
Okay. There it is. Yep. Oh, you're gonna paste it? Cool.
Yep. So everybody go to that link. If you're not getting a booth, it's fine. You can come sit next to me and help me translate. It's perfectly fine. I've been working on my Spanish. I'm doing pretty good. I've learned all the words I'm not supposed to learn.
Frank is engaged. to a lovely woman from the Valley who is trying to teach him.
She's been working on me. Send me with a spray bottle whenever I get it wrong, right, Sarah? Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I don't want to keep you long. I know you guys have stuff to do. If you want to come see me at the fair, come see me at the fair. Any further questions, let me know. Janie, I'll be emailing you shortly. Thank you so much for being here, Sam. We appreciate you dropping a lot of knowledge. I took some notes. The most important, I feel, being the 75% in the Valley being mortgage ready. And that is truly what I see when I go to the fairs. When you talk to people, you ask them income, credit, what kind of debt they have, and it's like, you don't own a house yet? What's going on? Let's solve some of these misconceptions and get you ready. So yes, Sam, thank you so much for being here.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. And we'll send out the recording shortly.
You guys have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.